Damn. Okay then. Right. Here we are, once again, for Season 2 of the GRT GR4 League, presented by Global Racing Team. I hope you are all having a spiffing day and are ready to watch some kick-ass mother effing racing. Let's do this thing. Hope you're all doing well today. The sun is out for a change, so a good day. A good day. Let's have a quick check to see if everybody's in here so far. So we have 12 people at the moment. Don't know if Sean is going to be joining us for the race. Not sure. He was saying in Discord before that he's a bit busy. So who we're waiting on? We are waiting on... We are waiting on Kazi. We are waiting on Hippie. And that might be it. Everybody else seems to be in. We're only waiting on 2 people. So it should be good here today. We are at Red Bull Ring for round 7, the penultimate round of this championship. I would say it's looking fairly close at the top, but it's a bit separated today. Seal picking up a monstrous penalty, because I will preface this by saying it does state in the rules that I have got penalties set to heavy. Just warning people now. That is what Sean has posted in the Discord, is in regards to shortcut penalties, so that is what I'm going with. If you have a problem with it, blame Sean. Because that is the rules I'm going off, just the ones in Discord, and that shall be on. Yes, they are Hebo and Val. They are present today, but I'm sure we do have one extra slot. Just putting it out there. We do have one extra slot that another Citroen might be able to fit into the drivers' rankings for today's race, if you are so inclined to join us. It was great fun having you out. So the only people we're waiting on right now is Hippie, but there is one additional slot in this that is free, I believe. Getting some confirmation from Sean there, all well and good. That's what I thought it was. So yeah, I would potentially, I don't know, don't tell anybody else this by the way, Hebo, but I may look the other way if you want to join us for this race. I might look the other way. Sweet. Good stuff. We shall have Battle of the Citroens today. The one thing I will require of you, Hebo, though, is what is your spontaneous team name for today? Sweet. What is your spontaneous team name for today? Who are you racing for? That is the only thing I require. Official documents, you know what it is. we actually have because it started a bit later, we actually have everybody in time. Citroen C4 Cactus. Sweet. So for all you cacti out there, Heppo's racing for you today. For all you cacti lovers out there. So watching the man, the myth, the legend, JD, unfortunately in the normal livery. Quote unquote normal. There's nothing normal about JD's liveries. They're very good. I feel like there's been a small change to that livery though. I feel like it's a bit more black and white on the front than usual. Rob's is still purple, but I feel like there's been a change in that livery. It doesn't look the same as before. Oh, I guess we'll find out. So, as already mentioned, Team Miller and Carter Racing, who I'm pretty sure at this point have already won the Constructors by quite some margin, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'm pretty sure they have ran away with Constructors in terms of points, so that kind of makes, but we'll say the battle behind them is very close. So really it's a battle for second in the Constructors at the moment, because JD and Rob have almost 200 points worth of gap to second place. So they really have done a fantastic job of actually just getting ahead and staying ahead in these races. So good job to them. But behind them is Team Crazy, with this man right here and his teammate in the Carrot of a Hurricane, who looks to be setting out a good pace initially here, so I'll have to watch from him today. Wrighton, Gad's teammate, racing for Pot Noodle Racing, of course. Wrighton rocking the Pirate Pot Noodle Racing Citroen. That's a tongue twister and a half. We also have the aquatic mammal himself, as Matt likes to refer to him as, a seal for Rocket Science Racing. Hopefully we can have a good performance out of Seal today. He's been looking strong lately, and he's in the car to do it around Red Bull Ring, one of the better cars around here. And we have one of the members of Geminite Racing, Jay, looking very good as always in the Aston. Hi Pipe Mate, how are you doing, buddy? Send a quick message. Where is he? There he is. So we'll be starting in about 3 minutes here. What's the time on the in-game? What's the in-game time? Yes, so we'll be starting in 3 minutes. So hopefully Hippie can make it, if he is racing today. Having the other member of Rocket Science Racing in the form of Rocket Man in the other beautiful looking Jag. Do love the livery on that car. Should be some, hopefully, a good results out from there today. Scouse Racing, Mr. Mikey, who is oh, actually, no, never mind, my mistake. So we have Mikey here for Team Scouse Racing, who will have an alternative teammate today, with I believe Sean not racing today. So it'll be interesting to see what the two of them can do together today. Kazi, the Flying Carrot Hurricane, speeding along at Red Bull Ring. Now Kazi is challenging for second place in the solo team championship so far. He's in third place. I think he's about 10 points or so behind JD, who's doing a fabulous job in second place in the championship. So good to see if he can close the gap into before the final race today. The other member of Team Geminite, Mr. Marmite, the Flying Welshman, just burning his 1 second penalty there. It's going to be a battle of who can get the least penalties, I will say as well. You know what, I'm going to put in a quick message in the chat. You see Marmite doing donuts in the background there. No probs, Hippie, we'll wait on you. So yeah, all as of the rules that Sean has presented in Discord, penalties are set to high, which, don't get me wrong, I know how much of a pain in the arse penalties are at this track, but just going off what's said in Discord. So yeah, have fun with that, I guess. So no props, Marmite. Well, the only thing is, Racer, I am just going off what is said in the Discord. If it's been set to... you know what, screw it, I'm making... 1 second. In the Discord for the penalty settings, it does say strong, but given that it's Red Bull, I'm just going to make the executive decision anyway to switch to weak. I was just going off what was in the Discord, but I will set them to weak. You know what, screw it, just for the sake of that as well. Don't get me wrong, I know how much of a pain in the arse Red Bull Ring is with penalties. We also have Teej, who is filling in for Sean today. He is driving the M4. Where's his name? There he is. Unfortunately picking up a 2 second penalty there. Fair enough, my bad. It says, I was just going off the info page, Racer, that's fair enough. I'm just going off the info page, it says weak. It says strong in the info page, so if it's on the boats, fair enough, I've looked in the wrong place. But as we see the guys gather here in one of the corners in Red Bull, we have Mr. Guard Gaming. So we have Mr. Guard Gaming doing donuts, who knows he's on the screen right now. Heppo, who was just joining in because why not? He asked, so And I now get why he's in the cactus, because he's dressed the Citroen up as a Citroen cactus. I now get the joke. Well done on that one, Seal. And the last two people in here today, Mr. Pipe. Hopefully he can swing some results here today, and of course the mighty mentor himself in the lovely pink Alpha. So let's get the show on the road, shall we? Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Literally in a minute. 3, 2. Starting in 1 minute. It's been delayed enough, so we need to get this underway. Otherwise, we're never getting this done today. We've got 10 minutes qualifying anyway, so it should be fine. 10 minutes qualifying around Red Bull is more than enough time. And there we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's get this underway. Flash through the grid. And Mikey in the wall. Right, here we go. Qualifying for the sprint race. Who's going to be the first out of the pits? Looks like it's one of the Citroens as well as somebody else. Looks like Marmite and Guard are inside each other. Ooh, that's hot. So they will be the first to go out onto the grid so far. Remember, there is no tyre wear, no fuel for the sprint race, so it is just an all-out sprint race for 6 laps. And then the feature race will be, I think it's either 16 or 17 laps for the feature race with tyres and fuel wear, but I'll get into that in a bit. As we go down the grid here, Marmite is going to be the first across the line, followed by Gad, followed by JD, followed by his teammate Rob, Racer, Hebo in the cactus today, Seal, Jay, Mikey, Wrighton, Rocketman, Kazi, Tej and Pipe and Hippie are in the pits. So we have a full grid out here today, almost, pretty much a full grid. Don't worry about it. Full grid out here today. So it should go for some good racing here today. All 15 drivers in, so it should be good. Of course there is, Hippie. You have to have fun with these things, you know. I mean, to be perfectly honest, Hippie, I would expect you just to do 1 lap anyway, and then that'll be it, really. So, you know. That's why I expected anyway, because Alpha. Hey Enra, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you this fine afternoon. To see almost all the field on their flying laps now, apart the 2 in the pits. It does, Hippie, it really does. We'll have to take a video of that and then put it in the Discord, or like put it up on one of our channels, and then just so we can link it in the Discord for our roller coaster. But enough about virtual roller coasters for now, as we see all these guys who are coming around the final few corners. Marmite comes around the final couple of corners. He's going to be the first to cross the line. What is going to be the benchmark from him? 136.4 from Marmite, 136.8 from Gad, 134.9 from JD. Rob just beating him by a tenth. Racer with a 35.7, Heppo with a 36.0, Seal 37.3, Jay with a 36.1, Mikey with a 36.4. Kazi coming across the line, going into preliminary third place with a 135.1. And who's the rest to come across the line now? No other laps being set here. Looks like a few penalties might have been caught on the first few laps here. So hopefully these guys can string their laps together. So good start by Miller and Carter Racing so far. Looking at the first two spots on the grid, I would say I'm surprised, but I'm really not. But Rob and JD very close with under 0.1 of a second between each other. Yeah, no problem, Sean, will do. So you have the guys coming around the final corner here. Kazi with a good time as well, only 0.33 seconds off Rob's pole position. Can he improve this lap as we see the rest of the guys coming around the final few corners now? Marmite improves with a 36.4, Gad improves with a 35, good time from him. With the rest of the field not improving so far. Heppo improving to go 5th, but is instantly knocked down by Seal with a 135.4. Great job by Seal there to put himself very close to the likes of Kazi and the rest of the field there. Good stuff from him. Oh, unfortunately Seal picks himself up a penalty, so this lap will be invalid, but he will get a few more laps still in this race. Nobody else looks to be improving on the grid so far. And just as I say that, Rocket Man comes across the line with a 137.3, which puts him into 11th place. T just coming back out of the pits now, Pipe and Hippie, so... And Wrighton comes across the line to set not his quick lap though. Looks like he's still being plagued with penalties at the moment. Hopefully these guys can get a solid lap together as he looks to run a bit wide again. Will he be able to pick up a penalty again? Ah, unfortunately Wrighton does pick up a half-second penalty. It's such a nuisance that first corner for penalties. Hopefully he can get this together and string the laps down here as he goes purple in the first sector typically. Good stuff from Wrighton though. Hopefully he can keep this lap together and set a good time. We have Tej on this outlap as well. Pipe and Hippie as well, not setting a lap just yet. Maybe they're waiting right to the end for a one lap blinder. Let's see what the other guys, as the guys come around the final couple of corners, will there be any improvements again? Not so far. Looks like a few mistakes from these guys here. No improvements at all in this lap. There's the final few races coming around on that final corner. It's like a bunch of people slowing down just to get that little bit of breathing room for the last couple of laps as Rob picks up a half-second penalty, going a bit over on that first corner yet again. Looks like Rob might be done. No, not quite. He's pulling out in the pits once again. Rocketman improves to go preliminary 5th. Great time from him, just beating out Racer by 0.06 of a second. Good stuff from them two today. Good stuff from both Seal and Rocketman in this early qualifying. As we approach the 2-minute warning for the final laps of these qualifying sessions. Ah, yeah, he still has that qualifying ban, fair enough. Well pointed out, Sean, no problem. Of course, so just Hippie to left to set a lap, if he is going to set a lap. He is in the Alpha at the end of the day, so just have to sit in the pit for now. See the guys coming across the line. Racer improves and manages to pip out Rocketman. Great time from him with a 35.4. Jay also improves, Mikey also improves as well, putting them both into 5th, 6th and 7th, knocking Rocketman and Heppo down quite a lot there. Both Rocketman and Heppo losing 3 positions in the span of a second there as all 3 of them come across the line. Great stuff by these 3. Racer in 5th, not far behind, 0.15 seconds from Jay and 0.13 from Mikey as well, as Jay goes purple in the first sector. Teach finally comes across and manages to set a time, beating out Wrighton. Just puts him ahead of the couple of others on the field there. As we come up to the final couple of laps, will anybody get 1 or 2 more laps from this? It's going to be very close for the front runners coming across the line. As Hippie comes out onto the track, hopefully he can make it round to set a lap. It's going to be very close whether he actually manages to make it round to the start line. He's only got 30 seconds left to get around the track. I don't know if he'll be able to do it. He might have left this a little too late. I'll have to wait and see as the rest of the guys come around the field now. Rob's on a flying lap, Tej is also on a flying lap. He might be holding each other up here. Hopefully they don't hold up too much. So the first guy's come across the line now. It doesn't look like Hippie's going to be able to set a lap as Marmite comes across the line with a 1:36.3, putting him ahead, but Heppo storming across, putting him into 6th. Seal improving to put him ahead of Kazi, goes into 3rd. Everybody's improving. Jay is improving. Mikey's improving. All in 35s. Wrightman finally managed to set a lap with a 1:36.5. And Hippie will unfortunately not be able to set a time there. Just left it that little bit too late, and let's see these guys come across the line now. TJ and Rob coming across the line. Will they be able to get a good laps yet? Not quite, but Tej comes across the line with a 1:36.4. That puts him ahead of Wrighton, and Hippie puts him 12th on the grid. Good stuff there from Tej. Good pace set so far as the last few guys come around the track. Rocketman not managing to improve. He stays in 9th after a good early lap in the session. Very, very close in the midfield by only a few tenths, separating the entire grid here almost. Really close from these guys here. Very close between the top. JD, the only person that would have really improved is Seal, but he unfortunately has picked up a penalty. Kazi has already set his lap. Let's see if any of these 5 guys can come across the grid. As Marmite goes wide, unfortunately that won't help him move up any positions, and let's see if anybody else is able to improve on their laps here. We have Heppo coming around the final corner. Will he manage to improve? Coming across the line, no penalties. He does manage to improve and manages to get into 5th position with that time. Jay and Mikey comes across the line, and Mikey manages to get a time which actually moves him ahead of Jay. Great times there by all of these guys. And I believe that is the final, that will be the final standings. So great job by Rob and JD, but they were very, very close to being overtaken by Seal and Kazi. Great stuff from him. Heppo, Racer, Mikey, Jay battling throughout that entire first qualifying session. Great job by them guys from 5th to 8th place. Rocketman, Guard, Marmite, Tej, Wrighton, Hippie and Pipe is the final order for the sprint race. 6 laps of Red Bull Ring. Hopefully it is a clean first corner. Just have to take it a bit easy. And here we go now. Let's start a sprint race. Waiting for the lights. And there we go. Great start by Seal yet again, and Kazi's, and both managed to jump the TTs on the line. Heppo managed to get an amazing start though, but it looks like there's a bit of contact in the first corner there with everybody managed to get past. Looks like it was able to manage there. Kazi unfortunately not making him able to make up many positions there off the start grid, off the starting line, but great starts from Seal and Heppo yet again in that sit run. Making great use of the traction in that sit run and flying ahead into 2nd place. Rob still there on the hunt. He He will look to claim back that first position. But look at the start at the back here. There's a huge group of guys at the back here. Let's have a focus on that. So we see Gad defending from Racer here. Racer, unfortunately not the best start. McLaren is very bad off the start line, and it shows as both him and Marmite not managing to get off to great starts here. Looks like the rest of the racers are filing up nicely here. Very, very close in these early sectors of this race. It looks like Pipe and Tej are battling now. Pipe manages to jump both Tej and Hippie on this first lap. Let's see if he can make any ground up for the rest of this race. Jay unfortunately picking up a half-second penalty and serving on the straight. Good job from you, Jay. Let's see where he slots back onto the grid. Looks like he just managed to stay ahead of Hippie there. Oh, as we have a bunch of racers going wide, that will be quite a few penalties. Let's have a look. As Heppo unfortunately picks up, it looks like a second penalty. Is causing carnage here, as there was almost 3 wide coming across there. Mikey, Gad and Rocket Man just managing to avoid contact there. Good stuff from these guys, keeping it very clean. Unfortunately Heppo managed to drop back to 8th place because of their penalties there, as Kazi moves up, as the rest of the field move up 1 position, dropping from 2nd into 8th place. Not what Heppo would have wanted in this early stages of the sprint race. It looks like Kazi and Rob are battling now, while Seal just edges that gap in front, although Rob's gunner, JD, is going to be coming up from the rear. Kazi has the inside line into the S's. Bit of contact there as the both trying to get as much speed as possible. Here comes JD. Can JD manage to capitalise? He's going on the inside. JD's ahead of Kazi. Well, he managed to keep the position into the fast right-hander. Kazi sweeps around the outside, but he does go a bit wide. That might result in the penalty. Great stuff from these drivers there. Kazi just managing to keep the position, but Rob unfortunately picks up a half-second penalty. Really unfortunate there for Rob, as he didn't look to do a lot wrong there, if I'm honest. But that does leave his teammate now to try and go hunting that Lamborghini and Jaguar in front. Check back in a bit later in the race to see how this develops, but Gard looks to be the leader of this pack, as we have a 6-way battle for 5th place here, with both Potnoodle Racing guys heading out 5th and 10th position, sandwiching the pack in here. Heppo manages to make a move on the inside there. Mikey goes wide the first corner, wonderful those contact there. Just did manage to catch it in that camera angle there, but Mikey drops from 6th down into 8th place. Heppo and Rocketman move up at 1 position as well, as Wrighton at the back there managed to make the move on Racer, and Wrighton now goes to the inside of Mikey. Will he manage to make the position stick? Well, Mikey goes a bit wide again, and Wrighton just manages to make that position up, as Racer falls a bit back in the background there. Marmite moving up to 10th place as well. Position switching all over the place, as Pipe in the background there also looks to get in on this action, as Racer falls back into 12th place now because of that penalty. So you see battle of the Citroens here. We see Heppo in the Cactus Citroen just trying to chip away at Gard. We're only halfway through this race, so still all to play for. As we see a 3-way battle for 2nd place. We have Rob on the inside of JD and Kazi. Rob on the inside line. Kazi looks to have the better exit there. Oh, looks like there's a bit of contact there on the exit of the turn. Kazi just trying to get that bit of drive off, but maybe looks like the bit turned in, but he will be on the inside into the very tight right-hander, who will be better on the brakes. JD still tries to go down the outside, just managed to make a stick. Kazi still has the traction there. Great battling from these two. Rob just managed to slot in front, and JD just managed to get that position from the slipstream of his teammate in front. Great stuff from these guys here today. as Kazi just slots in behind JD. Hopefully he will be able to mount a challenge back on these two here. Seal just still in front by 2 seconds. Will the rest of this pack be able to catch him before the end of the race? So a quick look back as Wrighton manages to move ahead of Rocketman and take 7th place to make it a sit run 5th, 6th and 7th place here. Will any of these guys be able to catch the group that is battling up in front? See Mikey just on the back of this pack as well now, as Gad just looks to be building a gap on the rest of these guys. So see Mikey now right on the back of Rocketman. Mikey will have the grip, but he's not going to have anywhere near as enough power to match that Jag on the straight. As Heppo unfortunately looks to get another penalty there, dropping back. Will he be able to keep them positions from both Rocketman and Mikey? He just managed to stay ahead, but he will be under a lot of pressure from these two now as he looks to go a little bit wide of the corner again. Hopefully that doesn't result in the penalty. Wrighton in front of them picks up a half-second penalty for going through that corner. Oh, it's going to be very tight going into the right-handers. 3 wide almost going into the tight right-hander onto the back straight. Heppo just managed to go through on the inside. Wrighton gets pushed wide by Rocketman, not letting back on the track. Mikey's still behind them, trying to claim the scraps. Some really great racing here today. Very tight. As Wrighton looks to try and make a move on the outside there, Rocketman pushes him out onto the sand there. Aggressive driving from Rocketman, but it is in his right. He was on the defensive inside line. So see Kazi actually managing to get back ahead of JD now up in front to try and claim that. His racer exited the race, has he? It's unfortunate for racer there. So have a quick look through the field to see if there are any other battles coming up to the final lap of this race. So see Kazi picks up a half-second penalty that will allow JD to go through. That does allow JD to just extend a gap for that last step of the podium. As Rocketman looks to be really trying to have every single advantage of these straights, as Rocketman does pick up a half-second penalty. Wrighton also picks up a half-second penalty. They do serve it on the straight, and Mikey should be able to get through here before the tight right-hand corner. Mikey gets it good on the brakes. This is just a sweep around Rocketman because of the penalty. Wrighton also trying to challenge Rocketman there, having a better exit off of the hairpin, and he's right on the back of Rocketman here. Rocketman on the inside. Does Wrighton manage to make this one stick this time around? Oh, that was... I'm not quite sure about that one from Rocketman. He was very... I'll have to have a look at that in the end there. Wrighton did look to be ahead on the entrance of that corner as Pipe looks to slot through on the inside of Marmite there. But we see a battle for the front positions. Rob is right on the back of Seal. Will he manage to make up any positions? Coming into the final corners, does Rob or Seal get a good run out of the last corner? They both managed to keep it clean. Looks like Seal's going to take this one as Seal comes across the line, followed very closely by Rob. Great race there. JD comes in 3rd, Kazi in 4th, Gad in 5th, Heppo in 6th, Mikey managing to take that 7th place, Rocketman in 8th, Pipe in 9th, good job from him. Ryan almost managed to take Marmite on the line. Jay in 12th, Hippie right behind him in 13th, and Tej spinning across the line there to come home in 14th place. And we did have Racer in there as well, but unfortunately it looks like he must have hit the wrong button while in pause or something there. Really unfortunate for Racer. We'll have to look and see what happens there. Great job from Seal here today. taking out the first position just ahead of Rob at the end. Rob on a real charge at the end there. Yep, you are not wrong at all. Well, really good job from Seal there. Ten-minute break, and then we shall be starting to get this feature race done as soon as possible. Right, let's see if I can get these settings right, shall I? Let's have a quick look at the laps first of all. "17 laps. It's going to be a bit of a long one. Rolling starts. First grade on tyre wear is 4 and 5. 5 tyre wear. 4 on the fuel depletion. Initial fuel is 100% default. That doesn't matter. Race delay finish. That's all well and good. Soft and mediums. Weak shortcut penalties. All that seems in order. Rolling start. Yep. All these will be looked at after the race. I am going to be going through them as usual at the end of these couple races. Yeah, we'll be starting in a few minutes here today. Tej is the only one that is readied up so far. Great stuff from Kazzy and JD today though. Really great racing from him today. Again, just the penalties really dampening the spirit of this track really. But of course, if you want to look at any replays, sorry, if you want to look at any moments back from any of these races, leave a comment in the stream at the end when we're going to be looking at the replays, and I shall give them a look. Josh, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again. Nobody wanting to set a lap at the moment. That was really an action-packed first race there. A lot of great battling and great overtakes there from the entire grid. So really good stuff. Let's have a quick look at what happened to. So what lap was it where? Yeah, it's just the penalties again. That was the downfall of a lot of people there. Really unfortunate. But hey, it was warned. Again, it's Gran Turismo and it's penalties. What do you expect? Right, give it a couple minutes and then we'll be starting. I will be starting it at 14:52, hopefully, so hopefully everybody's ready and back by then. Let's have a quick check of the settings, just to check I have got them all right again, because knowing me, I probably got something wrong. It's a rolling start, that's what I want, great base from previous results. Real, off, on, light, that's all on. Racing mediums and softs. Nothing. Tuning's prohibited. Yeah, everything's good. So yeah, we're starting in a minute. As soon as cards readied up, and then we shall get this underway. Who should we leave it on? That's a new one, Josh. I haven't heard that one before. Rock the mash pot, rock the mash pot. Yeah, I've never heard my name used in that song, if I'm honest. I have heard others, but not that one in particular. So see Kazi and Tej going at it here. Just ready, waiting for Gard to ready up, and as soon as he is, we shall get this underway. Right. Good luck, everybody. And let's do this thing. Good luck, everybody. Remember, keep it clean. It's a long race at the end of the day. And just for everybody watching who doesn't know, this is the feature race. It is a much longer. It's a pretty much times 3 distance to these guys. It is times 3 race distance, so it's 70. So it is 17 laps here. That's an odd camera angle. Just have racer right at the back there. So see the guys coming around the final corner onto the back straight. 3, 2, 1. Let's get this underway. Let's turn that on so we can see the fuel and tyres for this race. Looks to be fairly clean coming through the first corner there. Is anybody going wide? No one's looking like for the moment. Right on the back of Jay on these early parts of the lap. Does he try and make a move? Ooh, tries to go on the inside there. Bit of a late braking. Oh, ends up taking out Jay there. Will he wait for him? Doesn't wait from there. There's a bit of a late move. Looks like Wrighton was really late on the brakes there, and both of them not managing to make that corner. We'll have to have a look at see what the stewards think about that as well. As we see Rocket Man going on the inside of Mikey there. Hepburn just in the background as well. Mikey looking for the cutback on Rocket Man. Mikey just going a bit wide of the corner. Hepburn looks to be on the inside. Will he go for it? No, thinks better of it, and they all go through that turn there. Mikey is on the soft compounds of tyres here. He looks to be one of the early ones on the grid. His Pipe looks to try and get past Marmite here. Good pass from Pipe there on the inside, but he's on the soft tyres, but he does run wide on that corner. Probably will end up getting a penalty for that. Let's see the big group of cars here. Big group of cars here. You see, look at this guy of cars here spread all over the track. Pipe in 6th, Marmite and Rockman battling into the tight hairpin. Mikey just behind them with Kazi, Hebo and Gad. Let's see who makes it in the corners. Are we all clean going into this corner? Ooh, Hebo's on the inside. Looks like Rocket Man got turned around there. Very, very difficult to try and see what happened there. Looks like Hebo was on the inside as JD looks to go on the outside of both Hebo and Kazi. This will be a spectacular move. It manages to go on, and it's 3 wide going into the braking zone. Kazi's on the inside. Oh, JD gets pushed wide. He almost had it. He's still on the outside of Hebo. That would have been an amazing move from JD. Just racing room then. Unfortunately, going 3 wide into any sort of corner, especially that one, is not going to serve you any good. And out of all of this, Gad and Rob move through the field. Good stuff from there as everybody else battles. Just move through the field, keep it nice and consistent. That's all you need to do. Avoid the carnage and sail right on through. Pipe looking to make some early headway here as he managed to try and close the gap on Wrighton. Jay as well, also on the softer of the 2 compounds. Managed to get past Wrighton and he's around right on the back of Hippie. He should have a major power advantage over that little pink Alpha. Let's see how much he catches him on the straight here in the slipstream. He was half a second on the exit of that corner. Down to 3/10. You see Wrighton in the background there, picking up another half-second penalty. That first corner really being the bane of his existence today. Jay just times the brakes right, but does go a bit wide. Hippie tries to get the cut back, but will he have enough power to try and overpower the Aston? Doesn't look like it. And you can see the speed difference from the Aston and the Alpha. There is no competition at all there. As you see Pipe in the background capitalising on Wrighton's penalty. Wrighton goes for the cutback. Easy move from Wrighton. Good defensive manoeuvres from him. Just getting a very clean cutback on Pipe there. Who goes way too deep into that corner. You can see Marmite and Mikey in the background there as well. Marmite on the harder medium tyres and Mikey just behind him, followed by Rob, who does manage to get past Gad as well. Slots into 9th place. Kazi behind him, JD, Seal and Hebo. Unfortunately with a couple incidents earlier in the race, just at the back of the grid now. As Kazi comes in for an early pit stop. Kazi first into the pits. Looks like he's not fuel saving and he's wanting to get straight onto those soft tyres. See JD just taking the first corner very nicely there, as we see the battle up ahead intensifying yet again. Mikey the only one on the softer compounded tyres, but the power of the TT, can he make it move, make it work into the first corner there? Looks like there's a bit of contact between the guys there. Really difficult to try and make any sort of headway through that, and JD looks to capitalise on this, as Gard unfortunately is the victim of that contact there. Looks like JD wants to go through on the outside of Gard. Does he manage to make it stick? Gard goes a bit hot into the corner. Maybe a bit of door handle rubbing there, but nothing too much. Gard's on the outside of the corner. Will JD have him into the braking zone? Looks like he doesn't. JD managed to make a move. Does Gard manage to get the cut back? He's on the inside. The battle's still not over yet. JD swoops across. Doesn't quite manage to make the apex. But looks like he will have the speed coming out of the corner and will keep a hold of that position. But Rocket Man is looking very racy again in the background as well. Sorry, Seal in the background. Not Rocket Man, my apologies. Ooh, bit of contact there at the back. Just pushes Gard a bit wide there. Hopefully no penalties. No penalties for these guys here. Very close racing from these guys now. So you see Pipe in 5th place, just really trying to defend from these guys. Wrighton and Marmite both losing out in a straight line, as Rob looks to the outside and now the inside of Marmite. Will he be able to take Wrighton 2 going into the very tight right-hander? Bit of contact into there. Rob just managed to make the braking zone, but both Marmite and Wrighton trying to make the cutback work for them, but manage just collect each other in the end. Mikey just managing to escape this, and there's now a drag race into the next corner. Wrighton on the inside of Rob, Marmite on the inside of Mikey. Wrighton managed to hold the position from Rob. Marmite's looking to maybe try and make a move on Rob, but Mikey's also trying to challenge Marmite for that 8th place. This is great racing from these guys today. Doesn't quite manage to make it work here. Wrighton still just managing to hold off the rest of the pack here. To see Rob going to the inside of Wrighton. Bit of contact there. This is looking a bit messy now. All these guys not giving each other an inch here today. Very, very close racing. A lot of defensive manoeuvres, just trying to hang it around the outside of corners, maybe losing people a bit of time here now. As you can see, they have fallen right back from the group up ahead, as Rob looks to be making a move on Pipe, who is now on very worn soft tyres. Rob goes deep into the corner. Will he be able to get the cut back on Pipe? He has a great run out of the corner, goes to the inside. Has the better acceleration on the corner of Pipe. He will be ahead into the next corner. Both a drag race now. Pipe looks to try and squeeze Rob out a bit, but Rob has the inside line. Looks like he takes that place. Brighton still battling Marmite here, as well as the rest of the pack closes up behind them now. Really bunching up this pack in the rest of the field. So you can see Pipe just maybe losing a bit more speed because of his worn tyres now. The entire rest of the grid's coming up behind him. You can see this huge pack that's behind him from 5th all the way down to 12th position here, with Seal joining in the background now in 13th place as well. Huge pack this, which could go any way for these drivers here. This Pipe really looks to be struggling on them set of soft tyres now. Marmite goes to outside but is not in the slipstream, so won't be able to get a jump on Wrighton now. Wrighton goes defensive to the inside of Protector's line from Marmite. So we can see JD in the background there just battling with Heppo. Pipe managed to keep his position, Wrighton managed to keep his position from Marmite as well. So see in the background there, it looks like there might have been a bit of contact as JD falls right back from Heppo, who was in front of him there. As you see, these guys not really making that much headroom. Kazi is the only one to have pitted so far. He's on the fresher rubber, but he doesn't seem to be making quite as much headway as he'd want. Looks like Rocketman's been in some contact as well, as he's back down in 15th place. We'll have to have a look and see what happened to him, unless he's already pitted maybe. We'll have to see what happened to him earlier in the race. But now let's get this focused back on this pack here. Marmite looks to go on the inside of Wrighton now, as Teej comes into the pits. Good battling from these guys now. Gard looks to try and make a move on Mikey as well. Gard going up the inside of Mikey. Great move from Gard, managing to make it work, and Pipe goes wide on the first corner. Unfortunately collects Mikey. Oh, Pipe being a good sport there and letting Mikey pass because of that incident. Good stuff there from Pipe. Looks like Marmite's still trying to get past Wrighton as well. He's on the outside of the hairpin. Wrighton tries to close the door on Marmite. Just manages to keep in front. Marmite just in the slipstream, still battling away with Wrighton here. Great stuff from these two. Wrighton looks to go deep into the corner. Marmite gets the traction around the outside. Will he manage to be able to do it? Still door to door between these two. Is Gard, the other teammate of Pop Noodle Racing, looks to try and capitalise on the both of this. Gard actually moves up the inside of Wrighton. Great move from Gard there as he now tries to challenge Marmite. Mikey just losing a few positions there as Heppo now, who's managed to close up to the back of this field now, tries to look up the inside of Wrighton. Will he have the speed going into the final couple of corners? He does have the inside line, and does manage to get ahead of Wrighton there. Wrighton losing a lot of positions. Gard getting it all sorts of wrong. Looks like he wanted to maybe get into the pits there, but not able to. Marmite and Gard both getting penalties and having to serve that on the main straight. This is going to shake up the order quite drastically. As Heppo now leads this pack, followed by Mikey, Wrighton. Marmite slots into 8th place. Kazi moves up into 9th, and Gard unfortunately losing out a lot of time there and falls back into 10th place. Deej, one of the people that is already pitting, looks to be going to the end of this race, is in 12th place, but is going to be hunting these guys down on a fresh set of tyres. Let's see how his race develops now. Is to see Kazi going up the inside of Marmite. Good move from him. Just managing to get the traction down on this lap, but it does look like Kazi will still have to pit at least once more, because he does have the similar or less fuel to everybody else around him, so he will have to still pit once. Ooh, a bit of contact between Gard and Marmite there. Just looks like Marmite got a bit on the sand there. Concedes the position to Gard. Good stuff from them too. Looks like Marmite just goes a bit wide of that corner, collects the sand, and unfortunately just a bit of contact between them and Gard, but nothing is really comes out of that situation as Hepburn still leads this pack from Mikey. Wrighton just falls a bit further back there, being put under major pressure from Kazi, who's on the fresher, softer sets of tyres, as Racer now comes into the pits. Ooh, Wrighton comes across Kazi there, not realising he's on the inside, as Gard wants to come into the pits, as he should have probably done a lap ago, but unfortunately just gets it a bit too much into that corner, as Wrighton gets another half-second penalty there, and Marmite also gets another half-second penalty as well. Looks like Seal just managed to take that position away from Marmite and come out in 7th place as Racer comes back into the field now. Where is Tej compared to the guys in the pits now? Jay comes out the pits, Tej goes around the outside of JD. Tej comes out ahead of Gemini, but Racer, crucially, is still out in front of Tej. Good stuff from Racer there, as these two were battling for the lead. But Racer managed to come out a great deal ahead of Tej here. But unfortunately, he does lose a bit of time there, not realising that he's on the medium tyres. Gets the brakes a little bit wrong and loses quite a bit of time there. This will be a battle to the end of them two as well. JD just in 12th place, looks like he's already pitted as well as Gemini. And Gad Gaming, of course, the Professor himself also pitting. He looks to be going to the end on the fresher, softer set of tyres as well. He will be hunting down the rest of the pack for the rest of the race, as Pipe as well. Pitting as well, he looks to be going to the end of this race on the medium tyres, and they will looking to be capitalised on that now. Let's check up with the front of the field again. Heppo and Mikey still battling at it, with Kazi just lurking in the rear on them fresher set of tyres. Looks like Heppo might be going into the pits now. He does have the hazards on, he does, as Rob also comes into the pits. Mikey really looking to go the distance on these set of tyres, as he also does, but look at the tyre wear on Mikey's car. Bearing in mind, Mikey has not pitted yet, and Kazi has about 3 or 4 fresher tyres. And look at the difference in tyre wear between the two. Mikey has saved more fuel and tyres. If he manages to keep up with Kazi here, it could be a very good strategy from here. So see the guys behind him. Rocketman just managing to move up ahead of Rob. Rob has already pitted and will look to be going to the end of this race with his teammate behind him. In 7th place, Rob looks to the inside, looks like he has a lot of grip on them fresher tyres and moves very cleanly around the inside of Rocketman. Great stuff from Rob. See a bit further back, Tej managing to move ahead of Racer now, who looks to maybe have made a mistake on these harder set of tyres. Maybe the McLaren isn't as there, has lost a bit of time. Fields, Tej looks to move back ahead of this pack, who hasn't pitted yet. Looks like we're still waiting on a pits from maybe Rocketman, and Kazi comes into the pits now for his second and final stop. As Marmite also comes into the pits. Where will this put them out compared to the rest of the grid? To see them come out the pits, Marmite taking on some fuel there. Looks like unfortunately Marmite will be towards the back of the field here, but he will be on a charge in the latter half of this race. And unfortunately manages to slot down in 50th place, but like most of these guys around him, he is on a fresh set of soft tyres, so will be very quick in the latter stages of this race. Let's have a quick look in front of this race. I managed to get some ground back on Tej. Looks like Racer has a bit softer, better tyres than Tej. Has been managing that bit better with a bit more wear on Tej's car in that M4 compared to McLaren. And Racer managed to sweep around the outside. Good stuff from Racer there. Rocketman maybe just trying to really preserve his tyres to the end here, but maybe a switch onto the softer tyres might have been a better option, as he looks to just try and hold on for the rest of this race. JD in 4th place, as we finally see Hippie, the leader, coming into the pits now. Mikey and Hippie are the only people who haven't pitted, but look at the amount that Mikey has managed to save in terms of tyres and fuel here. Hippie comes back out of the pits. Where will this put him? He looks to be very good. Racer picks up a half-second penalty there. Where does he come back out? Comes out in 3rd place. Bearing in mind he is on the harder set of tyres, but with low amounts of fuel in the medium tyres in the Alpha, it really shouldn't make any difference. Hippie is going to be flying for the end of part of this race. It is going to be a very difficult time for anybody trying to catch Hippie through these twisty sections here. The power will be the only difference. So say JD just managing to make use of that in Hippie's slipstream now. Let's check back in with the rest of the grid. Is Tej and Heppo are trying to hunt down Rocket Man on their fresher sets of tyres, as Racer looks to have moved a bit further back in that battle with Tej. So see, Gard looks to move on the inside of Kazi there, not quite having the grip as Kazi goes a bit wide. Ooh, almost collects Gard there. Well saved by Kazi to avoid contact there as well. Again, very aggressive driving from all these guys here today, as Kazi really wants to make use of them fresher sets of tyres. Kazi does opt for the two-stop strategy in this league, and he has shown that at multiple times during this league. And is often one of the only people to try and do the two-stop and make it work sometimes. But he does have a lot of ground to cover in these last few laps of this race, with 4 laps to go now. As we see the battle in front, Hebo and Tej really hammering on Rocket Man now. Tej getting a nice run out of the first corner. Hebo just a bit slow on the exit there. Hey Nick, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you with us today. Hope you're enjoying the action today. The guys are putting on a great show for us today. As I see Tej going up the inside of Rocketman, Hebo unfortunately again another casualty in that. We see a battle going on behind as well, as Kazi somehow manages to make it past into 9th place and gets ahead of both Racer's Edge Racing. As I see a drag race between Gard and Jane, the next corner, Rock Seal just behind them, looking to claim any scraps as usual. Thanks very much, buddy, appreciate it. Let's have a quick check. Have a quick check of the guys up in front here, as we still see the battle between these guys. Tej just looking at that tiny bit more gap to the rest of these guys, as Rocketman's tyres really are just trying to hold on with almost 3 laps there. Rocketman going a bit wide, Heppo with a fresher set of tyres going onto the inside. Good move there from Heppo to get past, crucially get past Rocketman and hopefully put up some ground there. So we see in the background Racer getting a half-second penalty as well. Kazi on the late game charge here on a fresh set of soft tyres. Will he manage to make it work? He is on softer and fresher tyres than all of him around. Is there going to be 3 wide in this corner? Looks to be a little bit of contact as Rocket Man goes wide. Looks like Tej waits for Rocket Man there, does collect it. Unfortunately, Tej looks like he might have lost a couple positions there. But Kazi manages to slot on through and the hunt continues. As we see Hippie. Now this is a sight you don't often see. The Alpha challenging the TT now. JD managing to catch and overtake Hippie. But look at the state of them front tyres on JD's car. It may be quick, but there's no amount of power and speed in the world which can overcome that deficit of tyres. Hippie on very nice and fresh medium tyres. Despite JD being on softs, there is going to be no comparison to the two. Hippie is going to be so much quicker through the corners, and as you can see there, as Mikey finally makes his pit stop after 15 laps, and will only have to do 2 laps on the medium tyres. Some great racecraft from him today, and hopefully he can maintain these positions as he looks to come. And there he is, he comes out the pits. Looks like he might just be behind Kazi there. Mike comes out in 6th place, and considering grid to come out crucially ahead of this huge pack behind him, and hopefully he can keep that gap for the last part of this race. But there's a 5-man group here battling for 7th place. It's 3 wide going into there. Very, very messy from these guys there. They would never, you can't get 2 cars around that hairpin, let alone 3, but these guys trying to make it work. To see both Rocket Science Racing guys and Gad trying to make it round that hairpin. There was no chance any of them were going to make it through there. And Rocket Man unfortunately just being the victim in there again, just being on the outside. But hey Smokey mate, how you doing? No, it wasn't. It was never going to end well at all. As the group just seems to have calmed down a slight bit as we head into the final lap here. Gad just looking to try and keep ahead of Seal. Seal goes wide there and Racer goes wide in the background. That will most likely be a penalty. Seal does get a half-second penalty, which means Gad will move ahead of Seal on this final lap here. Seal takes a defensive line going into the first corner. Luckily manages to keep it together, as you can see both of the Gemini Racing teammates going at it now, as unfortunately no, Gemini picks up a half-second penalty as well. Really unfortunate there. So much action on the grid, you can barely keep track as Rockman looks to go up the inside of Teach there, just managing to make it stick. Oh no, spin, almost a spin from Marley, manages to collect it, but Jay goes back ahead and will go back ahead on the straight. But let's have a look at the front of the grid now. As you can see, both Hebo and Kazi battling it out, as well as Hippie and JD. Let's see if there's any change from these guys in the last half of these races. Kazi has put on a real show to try and catch back up on these fresh set of tyres, but Hebo is not going to give him an inch. As they come to the final few corners now, JD just managing to hold off Hippie in front. Will he be able to stay there in the final few corners? JD looks to go wide. Hippie tries to force him off. Oh, JD goes wide in the final corner. Hippie goes through on the inside. Will he have enough power to get through? Hippie, great overtake, forcing JD into a mistake on the final corner. Great work from Hippie. Managed to take the 2nd spot at the podium in that Alpha. Amazing stuff from him today. JD, great work coming from the back of the grid, managing to take home 3rd place as well. Hebo managing to fight off Kazi at the end. Mikey, a well-deserved 6th place, with a brilliant strategy from him today that kept him ahead of the rest of the pack. Wow! What a good few last laps that was. Great stuff. Hippie really managing to make that strategy work for him today. Pitted at the exact right time. Great stuff. That was it was a great pressure from Hippie at the end though. We all knew that JD's tyres were going to be very, very worn at the end, and he could see it at the end. Great stuff from Hippie. Separating both Miller and Carter racers here today. Also, we can't say take anything away from Rob, who manages to come home with the win at the end. Great stuff from him today, and that is by far and away, I believe, Hippie's best result this season. The replay has been saved for this one. The little Alpha that could, indeed. Just checking that feature race replay is saved so we can have a quick look at it at the end there. But great stuff from you guys here today. Wow! Let's just take a quick deep breath in and out. Just to calm down from all of this. Just to take it all in and just reflect on all the racing that happened today, because as usual, action packed. Nowhere near enough time in the day to go over the action that was seen from everybody here today. Great stuff from everybody here today. So let's just go over the grid as well today. Yeah, it was unfortunate, Gad. Looked like you had the right strategy, mate, but just in the middle of every single battle today, I'm afraid, mate. But it was really good racing to battle your way through to 7th at the end there. Slap bang in the middle of the grid. Good stuff from you today, Gad, as well in the sprint race as well. I mean, you can't knock where you finished today. You managed to pull out some great moves, and hopefully we'll be able to see some of them back on the replays. But let's just go through the grid once again. Rob, Mr. Alien Chameleon Robot, call him whatever you like, he still wins in the Audi TT here today. Great race by him, making the strategy work, climbing his way from the back of the field and managing to take home first place again. But the star of the show today for me, Mr. Hippie Heed, mighty mentor himself in the little pink Alpha, that good, in 2nd place, taking home the 2nd spot of the podium here today. Really just managing to get out front, stay ahead, making strategy work. Great stuff from Hippie today. Great stuff as well from JD to get back up into 3rd place, managing to make that strategy work there from the end, despite having horrible tyres at the end there from JD, but good stuff from him today. Great race from Heppo as well, managing to come back up into 4th place, as well from Kazi, making that 2-stop work here today. It always is a gamble going for the 2-stop, but managed to make it work for him today. Great stop from Mikey, managing to do 15 laps on a set of soft tyres in that Megane. Fuel saved to the max and came out in 6th place. Good race from Gad, clean, consistent as ever from these guys here today. Involved in many battles here today, but comes out on top in 7th place. Seal not managing to make up as much ground as he would have liked in this race. Again, just so many battles in the midfield in that feature race. Just really could not move up any other places here today. Marmite and Jay, again, this entire group here battling the entire way around of this feature race, not wanting to give each other any inch, and you can see how still close it was at the end. Seconds between the guys. Jay in 10th, Ryan in 11th, Wrighton in 12th, and unfortunately a great start from Racer, but again just the penalties at this track and involved in a few battles, unfortunately not netting the result he wanted here today. Same with Pipe and same with Tej, just getting caught up in too many battles and a few too many penalties here today, with Rob taking the fastest lap of the race yet again. 8 seconds in front, what more can you want from that? Thanks very much, Hippie. I have managed to save both replays this time. I did a sweep out of my replays, so I've got more than enough space. But yes, I will say thank you in the chat, and let's go have a look at some of the incidents from today. So let's have a quick look, shall we? We'll close the lobby down, but I'm sure people won't mind too much. Let's have a look at some of these replays, shall we? We'll start off with the sprint race as usual. And I want to have a look at this the first lap as well. Yep, this is the one I want. Okay, no problem, Jay. We'll have a look at that as well. We'll have a look at lap 1 and lap 2, and again, if anybody else wants to have a look at any incidents from either the sprint or the feature race, just let me know in the chat and I will do my best to cover them in this little bit here. Again, there's so much action that happens. Like, I try to remember little bits and pieces that happen in these races, but there's so much action that ends up happening in all of these races that I only remember like very brief amounts of stuff that actually happens. But there is a few things I want to look at off the top of my head, but if anybody has any things they want to put in the chat, just put it in the chat and I'll get round to it there. So let's have a quick look at the start of the field. Let's have a quick look from Hebbel's perspective as he managed to get a great start. Look at the start from this sit run. Seal managing to slot himself through on both of the TTs. Hebel doing exactly the same. Great stuff from him. Let's have a look at this again. There's just a bit of contact, but you expect that on the grid start. But in all fairness, the first lap, especially the first corner of this race, looked fairly clean. There wasn't much contact up in front. Let's have a quick check of this lap behind from Rotterdam's perspective. He looks to have a good view of this battle behind. Racers on the inside there, guards, Writons on the inside, and Marmite. No, it all looks fairly clean so far, to be honest. Great start by these guys in all fairness for it being the first few laps. Good start. Looks like Marmite just goes a bit wide there, Wrighton taking initiative and going to the inside, managing to get a place from him as well. Yeah, it looks like it was fairly actually clean at the start, to be fair. Bit of contact between Rob and Hebel there. That is what caused the penalty there, actually, between Rob and Hebel, I believe. Yeah, it was. I might have to be looked at from that penalty. 1 second. Let's just have a quick look at this. So a quick look at this one. So Rob's going on the inside. He is a tiny bit ahead, but does just push Hebel wide, and that gives a half-second penalty there. I don't know. Might result in a couple seconds, but apart from that, I don't think that would pretty much result in anything as well. And then Rob swoops around the outside and looks to get a penalty himself as well. And then Hebel also picks up another half-second penalty for trying to challenge that. Fair enough. Might have to look back at this. Let's have a look a bit further back as well. So lap 2. Let's just keep it on J for a bit then. No, sorry mate, that was the last bit. I've just closed the lobby now just to have a quick look at some replays. I don't know if anything else is going on after this, but that was the last one there, unfortunately, mate. So let's have a look at this. So Jay's on the inside. Brakes later. Takes the apex nicely, gets the traction. Yeah, that's fine. That one looks fine by me. Let's get a bit further ahead in this corner. Yeah, that's too late a move for me, I'm afraid. He's nowhere. He doesn't even look to challenge Jay here, and then just outbreaks himself. If he doesn't make contact with Jay there, he's going very wide of the corner. Because he's almost level with Tej here, and then cuts across Tej into the braking zone, which is one of my pet peeves, if I'm honest. Because he's on the outside of this corner here. Yeah, to me that's fairly straightforward. Looks to me that it's he cuts across the nose of Tej here. Jay is just taking this line, and then yeah, nothing because of that. Yeah, I think that's fairly open and shut, that one. Pipe shouldn't have went for that position. There was no room. Exactly. No, I agree. That one's fairly open and shut. I think that's fairly open and shut. Pipe gains quite a lot in doing so from that, so I think that's fairly open and shut. Apart from that, has anybody else got any incidents from the sprint race or anything they just want to have a look at in general? Because I honestly can't remember. Because to be honest, I think the sprint race was fairly clean. It was more so the feature race that had a bit of that was a really close racing between everybody. So yeah, just let me know. So let's just have a quick look at this. Ah yes, of course, that was the one that happened here as well. So Hebo goes to the inside, late brakes here. Bit aggressive for me, that one. This is one of the ones I wanted to have a look at. Hebo moves to the inside, so his intentions are perfectly clear. There's nowhere Mikey could go there. To be honest, I don't know if this one is any better. I can see what Hebo's trying to do here, but there's no way he's slowed down enough to make this corner properly. Because he's still 40 mile an hour coming straight lining into that hairpin. I don't know if that's... I'm not sure about that one. That looks fairly similar. He's behind Rocketman at this point and he ends up taking Mikey. Rocketman tries to get the cut back because of it and ends up hitting Hebo, unless he waits. Unless Hebo waits after this. Now, realistically, I think Hebo should have waited there at least. Personally. Because there's no difference from the last incident with Pipe and that. There's no real difference for me. He still takes Mikey clean off the track. Mikey loses 2 positions because of it. And there's nothing Mikey could have done about it. To me, that's exactly the same, and then Wrighton ends up almost overtaking Mikey. I think he does overtake Mikey here as well. Yeah, he ends up losing 3 positions because of it. To me, that's such a similar incident to what happened with Pipe, where you can see what Hebo's trying to do here. I don't know if it's well, to be honest, it is a bit of a dive bomb. It's very risky to try and make this type of move into such a tight corner. Because to me, that shouldn't happen at that corner. To me, like, nothing like that. Actually, as well, this will settle it. I didn't even think of this. But where does Hebo make contact on Mikey's car? So Mikey ends up turning into Hebo. There was, because when you were going into that corner, there is if somebody goes up your inside, there is nowhere to go. Unless the driver on the inside gives you room, there is nowhere for Mikey to go here. To me, there is nowhere for Mikey to go, and he loses out because of it, which is something is not really his fault. Because when you consider he's right behind Gard here, then Hebo ends up hitting him off, so he's already lost what, like second and a half because of that. So if you consider how far Gard's ahead here, Gard goes through the corner, but then because of the battle with Wrighton as well, because of it, so what would you say, that's like almost 3 seconds maybe behind Gard, maybe 2.5 seconds behind Gard maybe, because of it. Exactly, it's like Mikey couldn't have done any, the only thing he could have done is seen something on the radar, but by this point Mikey's already turned into that corner. He's already taking his line. Mikey is already taking his line on the entrance into that corner, to me. He's taking the line everybody takes. So let's just have a look at this. Hebo comes back from so far. And you know what it is as well? Mikey didn't even make the apex. No, I think apologies Hebo, but that's fairly open and shut as well. If you look, Mikey's nowhere even near the apex here to try and avoid this here, and he still ends up getting taken out. Yeah, he's just completely blocked on the corner. It's really unfortunate for Mikey, because realistically he should have kept 6 easily, because at the end of the day he was battling with you guards and he ends up losing what, 2-3 seconds to you there? So it's about maybe 1.5 here, and then because of his battle with Wrighton here he ends up going wide because Wrighton's on his inside. He's like 3 seconds behind Gard here. He's lost out so much. Exactly. No, I agree with you, Nick. You can't just expect other drivers just to allow you room where there was no room in the first place. Because at that point, Mikey wasn't even turning into. So imagine if Mikey took his normal line and took the apex on that one. Hebo would have went straight into the side of Mikey if Mikey had taken his regular line and took the apex. Hebo would have straight T-boned into Mikey there. Because if you consider, let's just rewind this a bit second. This is my last point. If you consider this, so Mikey's just taking his usual line. He's in the slipstream here. This is no problem here. But he clearly he notices Hebo there, but he's not on his apex at all. But imagine if Mikey had taken his normal line on the apex at that point. Imagine if Mikey had just cut in, taken his normal line and taken the apex. Hebo would have T-boned right into the side of him there. Like, realistically. So, really unfortunate for Mikey there, I think. Unfortunately, I think in this instance, because Hebo isn't racing like in the GR4 league, I don't think anything will come out of it. But I think that sort of problem needs to be addressed in the future for stuff like that, because I think it happened a couple too many times in this race, and it just caused. It wasn't a case of it was intentional or malicious or anything like that, but it's contact that can and should be avoided. It's pretty much all the time. So it doesn't matter if you're trying to battle for a position, or if it's intentional or anything like that. At the end of the day, contact was still made, and it was contact that could easily have been avoided. So to me, stuff like that specifically to me isn't shouldn't happen really to me, because there's no need for it, so it shouldn't have really happened. But that's just my opinion. But what was the other one that was it? Marmite said it was last lap. This is the last one we'll look at. Right, let's skip ahead to the last lap. Right, he's coming up the final lap. How far is Pipe behind now? Okay. So he's still not close. So now he's close, okay. Oh yeah, that was a one I needed to look at as well before getting to Marmite. This from Rocket Man. Exactly. So that's such clear cut. That's just nah. I'm sorry, Rocket Man, but that's bad. Wrighton's ahead of him at this point, and he just puts him in the sand. That's so aggressive. Wrighton's ahead of him at this point, and then what does steering input? He just goes on the throttle. He's turning full max. Hang on. You can even see the steering input. You can even see the steering input. I'm sorry, Rocket Man, if you are watching this. I really don't want to call you out on anything here, buddy, but you can see your steering input. It goes from full lock to only turning in part ways of the corner. No, I agree. That one's clear cut. Should be a penalty, I think. There's that one. If you look at his steering inputs there, so at this point, so he's coming along straight. Wrighton's alongside him. To me, Wrighton is alongside him. Wrighton's ahead of him. Full lock, not full lock, full lock. I won't say anything more about that because I really don't want to call like Rocket Man out on anything like this, but and then Wrighton comes back on track. Pipe goes to the inside. There's contact there for some reason, but we'll ignore that. And then is it that incident I'm guessing you're talking about? Well, it's not about history or anything, Nick. We don't look at that kind of stuff. Yeah, we purely look at what's happened on the track. We don't bring up history or any kind of bullshit like that. That's not how it works. It's purely based on the incidents on these racing. I don't look at anything else. It shouldn't be a case of if stuff happens in the past. It's purely based on what's happened in this race. Nothing else should really matter to me. So, normal braking point, yeah. That's a late break from me, to be fair, it seems like. Yep. That's fairly straightforward for me as well. Yep, that's fairly straightforward. Exactly. At the end of the day, history is to be learned from, not be brought back up. You can't base things off of history at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what, like, in my opinion, you can't base stuff off history purely without looking to the direct events that have caused certain things. For me, you can't purely base it off history. History is to be learned from. It's not meant to be, it shouldn't be judged, it shouldn't be scrutinised, it shouldn't be taken at face value. History is to be learned from. It's not meant to be brought up. It's not meant to be used as a form of like, it's not meant to be used as a form of like evidence or anything like that. It's just meant to be learned from, and that's all it's meant to be done at the end of the day. That's my opinion anyway. I'm not a historian, and history is probably one of my worst subjects that I actually know about, to be honest. But in certain instances like this, where it's that, to me personally, it's fairly straightforward. Incidents like that are straightforward to me personally. But anyway, enough about that. So let's have a quick look at the feature race. I think that one was fairly clean cut from as well. There was a slight tap from Pipe, ended up sending Marmite wide. Pipe took the place. Nothing needs to be said from that, to be honest. So okie doke, so the feature race. Yeah, again, say if anybody has like, if anybody wants to point anything out, like either wants to like just give like feedback on like certain instances and like certain comments and stuff like that, I am more than willing to like accept it. At the end of the day, I only do this to highlight certain instances during the race to try and make our racing in the future better. That's the only reason why I do these, and to highlight certain instances where we didn't catch on stream to actually go back and have a look at them. I mean, as much as I would love to just, from your perspective, Gad, just run through the entire race, I don't know if I have enough time to put that on stream, I'm afraid. as much as I would love to just have at it and just have your perspective on stream here, it's like, it was this as well that I spotted at the beginning of the race. This one in particular. See, now to me, this is a much different one to try and judge, because to me, this looks like it could be a racing incident. It looks worse at face value, I think. This one in particular looks worse at face value, but if you just take note of where Jay is on the track here, Jay's sitting in the middle of the track. He's already taken his defensive line, and right in all fairness still goes for the move up the inside, but realistically there's still space for Wrighton to go for that move. But I would agree. But when this one seems, but just take note of where J turns in here, because Wrighton isn't even at the apex of the corner before turning into the corner. If you look at this, the side by side, That's a tougher one in my opinion. No, in all fairness, Jay, you did. I would agree. You did take a good defensive line into that. It's just Wrighton made that. To be fair to him, there was space to go for that line. It was a good defensive line. There was still space on the inside because he was still right behind you. Because he was still right behind you, he hadn't committed to either going the outside or the inside, and then he goes to the inside. Yes, I'd agree. I think this one in particular, personally, I think this one might be a racing incident, personally. Because I fully understand that Jay takes his defensive line to try and defend from Wrighton here, yes. But Wrighton shouldn't have taken that position. He should have waited at least. I think it's a racing incident because Wrighton sees a gap and goes for it. And because this one to me isn't a dive bomb. Well, let's just see. So before he makes contact here, I don't know, man. I don't know. By the way, Jay, you're not at fault here. You're not at fault here at all. Like, there's nothing you could have done about this, I think. It's just... to me, with it being the first lap, and it looked very sketchy from you two going into that braking zone. The reason I think this is a racing incident is because you both go for the inside. If either you hadn't have taken the defensive line, or on the contrary, which I think really would have been easily to me, I think that's an incident, racing incident. I think Wrighton should have waited. I think Wrighton should have waited before because he still hits Jay off. But the incident in particular is... oh no, I say I have... It's not to say that, oh, he shouldn't have went for that move, because at the end the gap was still there, but it was but again, it's incredibly risky. Because to me, that move isn't a dive bomb the same as the other ones because he's right behind Jay going into the corner, but they both commit to the inside line. And you can see Wrighton does try to get out the way of Jay so he doesn't end up punting him here. You can see he's out the way of Jay. Jay moves over a tiny bit to try not collect Hippie, and then Wrighton tries to move out of the way again. There's nowhere for either of them to go in that scenario. It's just because of the aggression, both of them going into the corner. I believe there was nowhere for either of them to go. I agree. I personally don't think I would have made that move into the corner. It was incredibly risky doing that. But they both went for the defensive and like both aggressive lines going into the corner. That's what's caused the contact. But I agree Wrighton should have waited for Jay at this point to at least allow them to continue on. Wrighton shouldn't have continued on, but realistically it didn't matter too much. Because luckily neither of them got a penalty for it, which is the best thing to happen, if I'm honest. But because you can still see Jay's making slight adjustments to turn into the corner here, as you would usually do. He's still turning in a bit into there, and then tries to turn fully in to take his line as well. Personally, I think that's a racing incident. Personally, I think just because we're both going for the defensive and aggressive lines into that corner. Jay was trying to keep his position, and Wrighton saw the gap, tried to be aggressive. It was a very risky and not stupid move, but it was an incredibly risky move to do on the first lap. And to be honest, Jay loses out more because of it, yes. But that's only because Wrighton didn't wait. If Wrighton had waited, they would both be in the pack here. That was my only gripe. I think the incident in particular is a racing incident, but Wrighton should have still waited to let Jay pass him again. I agree, Nick. It is mostly in the person that is wanting to overtake Court because he's wanting to get past at the end of the day. But you can't just make the assumption of it's all down to the guy that overtakes. You still have to consider where the guy in front is on track, what line he's taking, what speed he's going at, what his braking point is. And again, Wrighton still loses out with a half-second penalty as well. Yeah, no problems, alright, 1 second. Right, so let's have a quick look at this one. Right, we'll leave that incident as it is. If any stewards or anything want to have a look at that, feel free, go right ahead, but let's move on to something else now. Let's have a... So let's have a look here. So Pipe has a good run on Marmite coming out the first corner. Goes to the outside, Marmite goes defensive. They're both on the same braking point. They both go wide. Okay, fair enough. Last was one corner on lap 1. Oh, was it on the last corner or something, was it? No, it can't be. Right. There's a little touch there, but nothing in it. Right, okay, I'll just let it play and let it play. Understand now. It's the last corner. Nothing there. No, hang on. Right. So they're coming through here then. My voice is going to be dry after commentating on this for like 2 and a bit hours straight. So Pipe has a run on Marmite. He's not ahead. He's not really alongside. Is it that one in particular, Marmite, or is it a different one? Last but one corner. So Pipe isn't alongside you here, but he's a lot later on the brakes. And I don't think there's a lot in that one, to be fair. There's not much in that. Yeah, he's very aggressive in the brakes and going into the corner, but there's no it's fair enough if you've backed out. It's fair enough that you've backed out, Marmite, but you can't really judge something off, oh, but it's only because I moved out of the way, sort of thing. There was no contact, and he got past with little to no contact. So that one in particular, I think, is fine, because I will 100% agree. He put it in a very what's the word? Well, an awkward place, really. As Rob says that as well. He's put his car in a very awkward place, and he's very aggressive on the braking zone going into the corner. But there's no contact as such. I would agree. I mean, in all fairness, mate, looking at some of the instances from the sprint race in particular, there's been so many. There's still been a few instances with him in particular, with Pipe, that are still going to be need to look into, and in my personal opinion, will probably get penalties. I think, just based off what I've seen in the sprint race again. But yes, I agree with that. There's a lot in there. Right, so let's just keep it with guard, shall we? Let's just skim through this. Because apparently guard had a really juicy race, but let's just keep it on guard and skim through. Do we need to tally or anything, guard? Do we need like a tally, just like a chalkboard, and just go, right, that's 1, it's 2, it's 3, for anything that happened, or... Right, let's not skip ahead too much, too quickly even. Here we go, this is something that happened. Well, that's one unfortunate incident that's being caught up in there. To be fair, there's nothing really could have been done about that. Rob's late on the brakes going into that, taps Marmite, and... yeah... he ends up tapping Marmite there, and he ends up... It's the same thing though, he's still like almost waiting on the apex of the corner, which gives people nowhere to go. That is a thing I think in particular needs to be addressed a bit more with regards to how people race. Is if people do make contacts like that, There is no reason why Rob should be slowing down that much, especially in that position. I know it's like heat of the moment kind of thing, but it has such an impact on other racers around you, because fair enough, he wants to wait and he wants to give them time, but Gard loses so much time because Rob decides to wait on the apex. And look at how much time Gard loses to this. JD ends up pretty much passing him at this point, I'm pretty sure, because JD managed to get the traction on the outside and goes through in the next corner. I think instances like this, where if people do end up coming into contact with other drivers, the need to make sure that they're not hemorrhaging any other drivers around them while they're waiting for stuff like that. No, Rob, that's not what I'm saying at all. It's just, it's not just this. If that's fair enough, if it end up just bogging down, like, I fully understand that, because I know that TT is very capable of that in like low gears. But to me, even in the weeklies and stuff like that, when we've been doing, even in the weekly races, there's been a bunch of times where people that have waited in such awkward positions. Personally, to me, Rob, I don't think there's any reason why I should be going that slow around the corner after the contact, because you're still fully braking at that point, to me. Yes, that is one thing I'm going to look at as well, Hippie, is the ending few laps between you and JD, so I want to see that again. So just little things like that, I think, especially if you're trying to wait for somebody who you may have had contact with, that sort of thing can easily be accounted for, I think, and could be a bit, could be practiced a bit better. But let's, since we've actually been doing this for a little bit now, let's see if we can wrap this up, shall we? Let's just keep it on guard for a minute again. Let's just take a ride with guard, shall we? Good stuff from JD there, backing up when it probably needed to be. Oops. Yeah, just hang on. Let's just pause the replay here a second, and let's just give big congratulations to Marmite, who didn't manage to spin out this race. Great job from him. I think he deserves 10 million bonus points and automatic champion of this league because he didn't spin out in this race. Great job today, Marmite. Really well done, mate. Good stuff. Anyway, so let's have a quick skim through again, see. Because I believe Gard ended up making quite a few positions from this. Teach comes in at that point. It's really unfortunate as well for Teach because he did have a good race. Good overtake on the inside there from Gard. Ooh, yes, what happened here? I forgot about this thing. Did Pipe just get it wrong in the braking zone? Oh yeah, just really got it wrong in the braking zone. No, that's fine. That's fine. No, that's fair play from Pipe. He waited. He realised that was his mistake. Fair play from Pipe there. Yeah, so Gab actually makes up some positions there. So yeah, Pipe just got it wrong in the entrance of that corner, but then ended up rejoining a bit awkwardly. Then waited for Mike in the end. So yeah, everything's good there. I will point out that you and Wright and Marmite had like a 3-lap battle, pretty much, which Gad ended up joining as well. And then you and Gad ended up both getting penalties and sent to the back of this group, which is really unfortunate. Like, this entire pack was here the entire race, pretty much. A pixel on the sand there from Marmite. It's unfortunate. So again, that's pitted. I can see Gad on the I can see yourself, Gad, wanting to go into the pits the lap prior to this, but you weren't able to. I think after this, is there anything else people want to try and have a look at? Because I think at the end, that's pretty much it, if I'm honest. So where does Gad come at me now? Where does he come out? He comes out just behind Heckle. Yeah, there's a, considering how tight of a group you were in there, Marmite, honestly, don't blame you. Honestly, like the sand and like the stuff in this game, you literally get a pixel on the sand and it just like, yeah, my car just doesn't want to grip anymore. There you go, see you later. But you didn't spin it, so that's the plus. You didn't spin it. What happened here? Rocketman must have had an incident because he's up there at the hairpin at this point. Fair enough, because he ends up coming back on track. Really awkward coming into there. Fair enough. Guy just keeps it on there. Here then. Kazi's coming through on the outside. Thanks Enra, thanks for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed today's racing. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So that's why Tej ended up losing a few more positions there than he should have, really. Unfortunate for him. Right. So I'm guessing this might be the start of it. This is where Mikey pits as well, so he comes out ahead of this battle. Fine a little bit there, but it's a fact that it doesn't allow any space to come back on the track. Let's just continue. It's just, for some reason Rocketman just isn't allowing any room for Gad to come back on the track when they're trying to battle. This one was stupid to me. For me, this incident is ridiculous. I mean, why are you guys going 3 wide into that corner? Like, there's no reason why you guys could be going 3 wide in that corner. I don't know what Seal was thinking here, if I'm honest. I think this is a bad move from Seal to put himself in that position, really. There is no way you guys are making it through there. I realise that it's such a close pack here, but for Seal to try and make that on the inside as well. That's the only thing, Gad. It's fair enough Rocketman's sitting in the middle, but he had his teammate to the right of him as well. It's fair enough, but there is, like, in this position, he's not wanting to. I think this is Seal for putting him. I think it's Seal's fault for putting himself in that position in the first place. If Seal hadn't have been there would have been no incident, because Rocketman would have just turned in as usual. But because Seal was there, it forced him not to turn in. Seal was still there. To me, this is really stupid. I think, in all fairness, Guard, you and Rocketman are fine. It's Seal that makes that such a stupid incident. There is, like, Seal should see this and think, right, I am not going to make that move. Let's just have a quick look from behind. No, there's no contact from behind, Rob. To me, I think that's Seal's fault, personally. There is no way he should have backed out of there immediately. To me, Seal, he should have never have made that move up the inside. He causes so much. He causes so much crap here. It's fair. It's fair enough what you're saying, Gad. He's in the middle. It's fair enough. Like, Rocketman is in the middle here, but in that situation, do you really think Rocketman is going to either turn into his teammate or try and fight off the person that's on his outside into the corner? To me, Rocketman in this particular scenario is in between a rock and a hard place, because he can't early brake because he has 3 guys behind him. He can't move to the left because you're there. He can't move to the right because his teammate's on the inside. He literally has absolutely nowhere to go in this. So to me, because Seal was still like, he was battling with Tej there, but then Seal decides to go up the inside as well here. That's what made, and Seal is so far on the inside, there's no way he's making that corner. And then because of it, Tej tries to avoid it, but Jay is still on the inside as well, just because of it, because all 6 of these guys here are trying to avoid this accident. It's a tough one, but it's no discredit to you, Seal, whatsoever, by the way. I just think in this particular incident there could have been more, because Jay backs out here quite early as well, so those if you had been there as well, then that's fair enough, but all credit to you, mate. You still had a good race, all things considered. Yeah, exactly. That was just because of the incident, but I'm really not trying to poke holes at you here, Seal. You still ran a great race, and you still at least you acknowledge it at the end of the day. Like, I'm really not trying to poke holes or blame you for anything, mate. Just in this particular, I'm just going off what I say in my opinion. That's all it is. You still ran a fabulous race today, and I mean, the sprint race told you that at the end of the day. So it's just in that particular incident, mate. I'm really not trying to blame you or say for anything, mate. I'm really not. But the main event, this is what we all want to see, really. This is what we all want to see. Let's look at this spectacular battle for second place. No, that's perfectly fine, Seal. Just thought I'd put it out there, that's all. As long as you're good, mate, that's absolutely fine. But still, great racing today, mate. I mean, great race in the sprint race as well to take that victory. Good racing overall by you, mate. We all do. We all do. I'm very, very capable of doing really dumb shit at the best of times. So, no problem with that at all, mate. We all do dumb shit. Who would have thought a bright pink Alpha 4C could be so intimidating? God, look at how defensive JD goes. He's scared. Look at how scared JD is. Oh, look at the pressure. Pressure. Is he on the inside? Oh, he fakes it. JD goes wide. Hippie slips up the inside. Look at that. Textbook. Let's watch this again, shall us? This is like the starting. This is like bubbling right now. So what you should do in here is you should just like slowly fade in like blading races. Just fade in blading races as all this is happening, and then it just ends in a huge crescendo when Hippie passes JD. Textbook. That'll go down in history in Oxford Dictionary under the definition of pressure. That'll go down as the official definition of pressure. Great stuff from Hippie there. Just what I like about this most of all is like JD goes defensive, like overly defensive into this bit. Hippie comes back, fakes the inside and breaks early into that corner to get the line. Like, to me, that's a brilliant move. No discredit to JD whatsoever, because look at them tyres. Like, look at them tyres JD was on. He ran them so well for so long. Thanks very much, Seal. Good racing today, and again, congrats on the victory, mate. And hopefully you will join us next week for the finale. But yeah, thanks very much for tuning in today and you sharing your opinion. Good talking to you as ever, mate. Just look at them tyres though. The fact that JD managed to make the tyres work for that long and still finish third is like ridiculous to me. Yes, he's in a TT, but come on. Like any like of us try to make a TT work for that long, and considering he was on what, like over 10 laps on a set of soft tyres in a TT. Like, do you think any of us could have done that in JD's position? So good stuff from JD, but yeah, that is textbook from Hippie at the end there. And while we're watching this for the final time, 1 second, I'll give myself a bit more time. Let's just start the lap again while I'm talking, shall we? Just watch this play out. But I think while that's playing, guys, I am going to leave it here. Thanks, mate, you've just seen your comment there at the end. Oh yeah, ESPN, here I come. But while we're watching this fantastic battle here again, I'm going to end it here. Fabulous again to have you all in the chat do this again. So it really is great every single time we come and we do this every week. Generally, it's one of the most fun leagues at the moment by far. Really is. And yeah, just thank you again as well, just as a quick note, thank you for the continued support throughout this as well, because it's really nice to see that you enjoy the league and you enjoy the racing. At the end of the day, I mean, it's you guys that made it possible, like everybody racing as well. So yeah, just really like to thank you all guys for that, and tune in next week for the finale of this. I really wish it could be more tense for who's going to win, but I have a feeling the actual top spots of this aren't going to be fairly set in stone at this point, if I'm honest. But with that said, as we end this one off, thank you guys very much for watching, and I believe, oh actually yes, and of course before we end, tomorrow, if you thought today was good, if you had any idea that you thought this is the greatest stream of all time, such great racing, such great everything, then you have no idea what's coming tomorrow, because tomorrow is the first of one of 2 weekends. It is the gold round of the GRT League 1.0, starting tomorrow at, I believe, 1 o'clock. I'm sure somebody in the chat will correct me, but it is the GRT League 1.0, and it is the gold division. Of course, that is nothing to be compared, because the week after is the silver division, which is where the real racing will be happening. So I'll be racing in gold tomorrow, and then I believe it is myself, and it's either going to, I believe Gad is going to be I believe Gad is going to be commentating with myself for the silver division, which will be not tomorrow but next week, I believe. I think, if I'm right in thinking, I believe you will be joined by Tej and Marmite for the stream tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. I might have to back check on that, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be joined by Tej and Marmite tomorrow. So no doubt they will have a brilliant time commentating all the action tomorrow. So yes, and also tomorrow, not forgetting that we not only have the GRT League, but we also have the Super Formula League, which is still going on at the moment, and that will be tomorrow night as well. So a non-stop day of racing for all of us tomorrow. So yeah, be sure to check into that tomorrow, because it is by far one of the events of the year, especially since it's going to be going on for at least 4 or 5 hours tomorrow. It's going to be going on throughout the entire day tomorrow. So it's really going to be something special, I think, this week and next week. So be sure to tune in to that tomorrow. And with that, I'm finally going to get out your face and stop talking and let you enjoy the rest of your days. But thank you very much for watching, and yeah, see you tomorrow.